everybody. Welcome to 500 Open Tabs. I'm Hannah Hillam.
And I'm Kaveh Taherian. Look at that introduction. We're coming in strong today.
I have to.
Yeah. Hannah, what's giving you the pep in your step today?
Oh, you know, the regular spite and panic, rage. But it's fine.
Anger,
it's
yeah, I was going to say.
Anger, yeah. There's a lot of rage in here, but I've decided to turn it into something positive. Podcasting. So.
Because the world needs more of that.
So there's a huge hole in the market for people listening to people talk while they do dishes. And so I figured I'd channel my rage into that. How are you doing? What's up?
Oh, up top. We need to say this before the end of the episode.
Oh, okay.
We're ahead of schedule in terms of our recording, and recorded a listener email episode. So we've blasted through a lot of listener emails.
Yeah.
And the ones that we have left are either way too long for us to use on any of these episodes. So if you can please submit listener emails, we're running low. And also I realize we only ever put the actual call out on Discord
social
or sometimes
media.
on the Instagram. And then otherwise it's just at the end of the show where we say it normally, but I wanted to say it up front. So if you're listening to the show and you had an idea for a listener email, please send it 500opentabs@gmail.com. That's 500. We're looking for them. So
if we haven't read yours and you knew you wrote a big long one, maybe rewrite it, send it in again, but
maybe a condensed version.
Yeah,
maybe an edited, shorter version. Just be like, hey, idiots, I tried this before and you didn't listen to me, but now
you can't read more than 2 paragraphs without getting bored. So here's the slop I'm going to feed you in simple terms.
Yeah, slop. Anyway, yes, I just wanted to say that before we did anything today. Because otherwise I would have forgotten. But anyway, everything good? Otherwise, anything we need to catch up on before we start?
No, just the summers. But I was going to say we're going to be at GalaxyCon next week.
Right. San Jose.
You're coming up here.
What are we going to do while I'm there? Are we going to go to Santana Row and go for a fun stroll?
Probably the only thing you can do in San Jose is go to Santana Row and consume products.
Great.
Yeah, we're going to participate in capitalism and go to Santana Row, which was made to look like an Italian villa-esque street.
Because when I think Italy, I think San Jose.
San Jose, California, the sprawling, overpriced mess that is San Jose. I love San Jose, okay? Don't come at me. I love it. So come up here. We're going to, I've been taking away. We're going to go to Round Table Pizza by my house.
Yeah.
We're going to get a Guinevere's whatever.
Yeah. Guinevere tribute toilet delight.
The Guinevere tribute pizza toilet. And we're gonna pee. That's what part of it. We're gonna piss on the Guinevere toilet. Look for
Eating
the
round table
line.
pizza. Yeah, the people with no line, exactly.
No line amongst others with a line. Anyway.
Okay, sounds good.
Tricked my way in. So that's that update.
Perfect.
You ready to
jot
get going?
That down. Yeah, ready to get going.
Yes, I want to hear all about Guns N' Roses because I know that's what you're going to talk about.
Okay, so if you haven't listened to last week's episode, you're going to want to go do that now before listening to today's episodes.
Yes.
Better yet, go back and listen to every episode we've ever done. Sign up for the Patreon, subscribe to YouTube. It's the only way to make sure you didn't miss out on anything.
And there's a lot. As one person said, that if you stop paying attention, you'll miss about 30 inside jokes. So.
Cream and Jeeds. But I digress. In part 1, I covered how I have had a tab, quote unquote, open in my brain for 30 plus years regarding the music video for the Guns N' Roses masterpiece, November Rain.
I told my mom that's what you were doing a tab about, and she was like, ugh. She's like, I remember watching that video. Oh, I don't like it. And I was like, get out of here. Don't tell me.
That's the greatest compliment that I could have ever gotten. That's amazing. Your mom just being disgusted by me doing the November Rain music video trilogy. Well, okay. So November Rain was part of a trilogy of music videos that was preceded by Don't Cry and succeeded by Estranged, making it the empire of the trilogy. These videos, right? Exactly. These videos took inspiration from a short story titled Without You, written by Axl Rose's close friend Del James. Without You was inspired by Axl's relationship with his future ex-wife Erin Everly, and a creative exercise of how his life could quickly spiral out of control after reaching astronomical levels of success. And when it finally came time to film Don't Cry, it's a prophecy. Yeah, exactly. Axl's relationship with Everly had collapsed, and he began dating supermodel and lead actress of the video, Stephanie Seymour. Suddenly, the lines between fact, fiction, past, present, reality, and inspiration were all being jumbled together into the messiest of messies. And with all that context, we can finally get to the main event for Main Man, which is November Rain.
Yes.
And now, so we discussed this at the end of the episode last week, which was you hadn't seen any of them.
No.
But you had actually, I did allow I did send you a link to watch Don't Cry. So
you came to where I'm locked up in a dark room, and you said, "Here, you can have this."
I'm like, here, you can put the lotion on. It watches Don't Cry again, or it gets the hose again, or whatever. It puts the lotion on its skin and watches Don't Cry, or it gets the hose again. Don't Cry. Thoughts before we start?
So it's just so tacky and amazing. Like, I was like, oh, there's a baby in this, and then I was like, there's a lot of ladies. I'm confused about which one's which and who's with who. And then there's Axl Rose with the, my goodness, I forgot what he looked like.
Yeah.
So young.
Very young.
Very, like a baby.
They're all very young. Yep.
Yeah. They all look like they're 20 because they probably were.
They are basically 20 at that time. Yes.
And it's like, no one should ever give a 20-year-old this much fame. But I mean, whatever. We'll do it forever.
Or should they?
Or should they? But then there were some ladies in there, and then they were like, oh, there was like some light domestic violence.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
remember that's the scene where he's trying to unalive himself.
Yes, and she's
and
like,
then
give me
she
the gun.
stops. She's like, no, you can't. And then he's like, you don't tell me what to do. And then they get in a fight.
Push you. Yeah, they get in a physical fight, and then later everyone's fighting, and then anyway, then he drives a car off a cliff. That's the best part of the video.
Slash does.
Oh, right. Slash drives the car.
Slash drives the Mustang off the cliff.
That's right.
While his girlfriend, presumably whoever the lady is screaming at him.
Yeah,
and it's this beautiful old 67 whatever.
Slash commits murder-suicide.
Murder-suicide.
And then it pans up to Axl Rose, right? Yeah, just like...
No, it's Slash. Slash is wearing nothing but leather pants, and he's playing the end of the solo. And then he throws the guitar into that cliff. Slash.
And then it was him again? Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's all weird, and that's what I'm saying. It's all weird and surreal.
There's so much hair. There's so many people with hair that I get the hair mixed up. Okay, so yeah, Slash commits murder-suicide, then like miraculously is like shredding on a guitar up at the top of the cliff, and then after that, I kind of went into a trance and kind of blacked out until at the end, a baby came out of some water. There it is.
He's reborn.
Like, reverse baptism. Oh yeah, or reborn. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I told you I'm bringing a lot of panic to this episode.
Perfect
I'm gonna make it fun.
Yeah. I'm glad you watched it. And here's what we're going to do today. Before I start my tab, what we're going to do is we're going to watch November Rain together.
Okay.
And we're going to record it. And then this is going to be a Patreon exclusive, is to watch.
Is it really?
Yes. I'm going to say this right now on top of it. We're going to save this for later.
My reaction.
Of us just watching it together. So before I get into the tab, I was thinking about it like every which way. It'd be like, what am I going to do? How am I going to? Because I'm like, is it funnier if I explain the whole video? But then I also feel like it's so insane that you kind of need to see it.
So everybody who's not on Patreon, go watch this, right?
Yes. Or, I mean, some people have seen it, but if you are not on Patreon, go sign up for the Patreon so you can watch it. That was a ride. Okay.
Okay.
So we've just watched the music video for November Rain, and Hannah is she grumbled.
I didn't grumble. I yelled the whole time.
No, crumbled.
Crumbled. Oh, 100%. I crumbled. That was that was 9 minutes of confusion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happened was that he and this very reluctant looking bride were in a church getting married by some like priest who was obviously had eyes for Slash. Like
the priest had eyes for Slash,
yeah,
or she
did you see him
did?
smile at him?
No,
he was like,
I think he's like getting his attention. Here, I'm gonna do this. I wrote down a recap of it, and then why don't you weigh in on when you feel is necessary?
Yeah, because I don't have any concept of time or like order or things. Order of events.
Okay. So
yeah,
the recap. The video begins with Axl, or main man, of course, because that's who it is.
Right,
it's the short story, quote unquote, character. He's having trouble falling asleep, so he pops some pills.
And turning.
He's tossing and turning. He pops some pills, and off he goes to have an adventure with Little Nemo in Slumberland. And
love that.
Of course, you have like your standard band performing intercuts, which in this case, by the way,
such an Illustrator deep dive right there, an illustration deep dive. Little Nemo in Slumberland. I don't think anyone besides illustrators know what that is.
Winsor McKay is one of the greatest draftsmen that ever lived.
Absolutely.
Listen,
Anyway,
I
go
know
on.
that some of his stuff was very uncouth and racist for the times, but the perspective that man knew how to draw in for those buildings is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I still lift color palette. Not really, not anymore. But I used to lift color palettes and go off of them from Little Nemo because I love
Yeah.
that so much. I love his color palettes. Anyway, go.
Yeah, so that's where
on.
Axel is. He's hanging out with little Nemo. He's taking drugs to go to sleep. Then they cut to the band performing, because every music video has to have the band playing.
Oh yeah, it's an
They're
orchestra.
It's a full orchestra, despite the fact that all the strings on the recording were synth.
What?
Yeah, all that synth. That's like Axel with like
So
10
they were
keyboards
just like
or something.
pretending to play.
I mean, I think they're playing in the performance when they're
Okay.
actually. I don't know if you knew
Feels-
this or not, Hannah, but when
feels
bands
rude.
perform for music videos, they've already recorded the song.
No, you have ruined the magic of music videos. Oh,
That was filmed at the Orpheum, by the way, in case anyone's curious, in Los Angeles. But basically, it starts and then it goes pretty quickly into the meat of the video, which November Rain depicts the fictional wedding of main man to Elizabeth.
mm-hmm.
Which, of course, in this case is Axl Rose and Stephanie Seymour. And it's not just a couple of shots of like wedding dresses and bridesmaids and shit like that. This is like a whole ass
It's a
wedding
wedding.
ceremony. It's fully all of it.
Everybody, like crowds, everyone's dressed up. It looks like we're watching an actual wedding, except
They straight
they're all
up
dressed
staged a
like
wedding.
clowns.
Right.
No, like circus. No, not clowns. Like a circus conductor. That's what Axl Rose looks like. He comes in and his wife's like, "I wore this insane dress, and this is what you're wearing."
So 90s. I love it though. Her dress. What did you say? It's
Unbelievable.
like it's not cut. What did you call it? You said it's got a
no,
tail or a trail or something?
No, it's just that dress is just the trail. The
trail, yeah.
Whatever. It's just
It's like
the
a
front
mini
is
skirt
just like
in
a
the front.
tiny mini skirt, and then just a trail of dress behind. I mean,
and then
whatever.
showing is it the garter belt? Is that what they call it? The
yeah,
thing
you
that
see the
toss?
garter the whole time.
Yeah, the garter.
We didn't
very
do that
risque.
at our wedding.
You didn't do a front cut off mini skirt
Oh,
with a trail?
I pulled my dress way up. No, we just didn't do a garter. No, we
We didn't do a garter either.
Oh, I don't remember. I feel like I'd remember that.
I don't really like garters.
Yeah,
But
kind of.
for a wedding, I think it's kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Same.
whatever. Not here to judge people. But anyway, they have some flashback memories of being rowdy at the Rainbow Room.
Uh-huh.
But like you said, Axel is dressed to the nines. He's
yeah.
to me, he looked like Jareth the Goblin King from
Yeah. But like Trailer
from
Trash
Labyrinth.
Jareth.
Trailer Trash Jareth, but with like a less distracting giant bulge in the front of his pants. But like I
Yeah.
feel like that's the vibe he was going for. He absolutely looks like
100%.
Jareth's younger brother, who's maybe
He
not
looks
as
like a working class
successful.
Jareth, which I think is I like. He's representing the working. My whole chair just fell down. Sorry, just a sec.
That's Jareth the Goblin King basically putting a hoax on you for making fun of his little brother.
His little brother. Well, I just like that he's representing the working class Jareths.
Yes, I agree. It's not a derogatory thing to say that. But anyway, so then they exchange vows and it's time for best man. I think you missed the point of what this was. Best man / is supposed to hand over the rings. That's why he's
rings.
doing this. And he's like, oh shit, I
he
forgot
can't
them.
find them.
He can't find them. And then Duff, who's the bassist, taps him on the shoulder and he's like, and then he reveals that he remembered to bring the rings and he's wearing them on his pinky finger over his black leather gloves.
Stupid.
Which, no joke, I think about that interaction like 3 times a week. Like that is so burned into my memory of just Duff going, "Du-du-du-du."
Don't worry, I got it. And like
I got it.
Like almost like a insanely like overboard gesture of like, by the way, here you go. And puts
But also,
it right in
it's
front.
over the gloves. That's my favorite part. He's
That's
wearing black. Why is he wearing short black leather gloves to the wedding? I don't know. But then he wears rings on top of them.
None of these people should be at this wedding or getting married. If you're gonna wear, also / I know you don't know where you are, but like, at least pretend. You're like, oh, I was supposed to bring a ring. Don't have / do it. Sorry, like he's not a good best man. I'm getting.
It's true. I was like, Duff is clearly the better choice for the best man. He's the more
the better
responsible
man.
one between the two
Not
of
the
them.
best, but he's the better man.
Fun fact that's also deeply embarrassing. Logan was more obsessed with that gag than I was, and he insisted that we do that as a bit for our friend's wedding when we were his groomsmen.
No. No.
Yep. No, we were in his wedding, and I was supposed to be like, and then Logan was like, this, like, he had the ring. So for a split second, everyone in the audience was like, what? We did it. Yeah. Logan was like, no, we have to. He like basically like strong-armed me into doing it. I was like, I don't know. It's kind of silly. He's like, no, we have to do it. And then he did it.
This is, I love
Absolute
Logan.
dorks.
You have just made the same friend over and over again your whole life. Like every friend you've introduced me to, I can easily see them strong arming you into doing this bit.
It's true. Thank you, Logan, for forcing me to do that, because now we have a great memory from our
An
younger
amazing
years.
story.
Anyway, we did it. Then in the music video, they put the finger rings on and all that. Dizzy like hugs his boo. They're like, oh, romantic. Everyone's feeling lovely. And then You May Kiss the Bride. I don't know if you caught this. Open mouthed French kiss.
Oh yeah.
When they do.
Fully went in both open, like gaping mouths, and just latched onto each other. Like that was a gaper. That kiss. It's like
You may now open mouth gape the bride. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep. As is tradition.
As is tradition, right? That's what Jesus would have wanted. Then Slash walks out of the church to play what some consider, I certainly do, the most iconic guitar solo ever filmed.
Yeah.
Dead serious. Yeah.
It was awesome.
This is the one.
It was really good. It was soaring, and the camera was
like helicopter.
And he was, again, didn't know where he was, but he was doing great. He doesn't need to know where he is. He just needs to.
You know where he was, Hannah? He was in the moment. That's where he was.
He was in the moment, dude. I wish I could.
That's where
do
Slash
that.
lives. Yeah, and of course, it's like magical realism. My favorite detail about that is he leaves this gigantic church, and when he goes outside to go play the guitar solo, suddenly they're in the middle of a desert, and the church is like a shack. It's like this tiny little like church, so it's like. It doesn't matter anymore. It's all just like, I don't know. It's like this interesting choice that I think like really sells the like emotional, like sort of bigness of the moment.
About where it's going to.
Yeah.
A little bit of a.
Anyways, It's magic. It's beautiful. His hair's flying in the wind. It's the best. Then they cut back to the happy couple leaving the church to get into their, whatever you call it, like the just married mobile. And then there's a shot that lingers on Elizabeth's, a little too long. Yeah. And she has this like, weird kind of like pensive look to her face.
She doesn't look happy.
No.
She looks like she's been told something.
To quote our friend Alex, who I showed the video to last time, she said, something ain't right.
Alex is right. Something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Slash is like, I'm the happiest. And she's just like, I got a foreboding. Maybe I shouldn't have married this 20-year-old rock star, but
even though she's also like a 20-year-old supermodel. So
look.
Also world famous. But then there's a shot of a mysterious figure walking at night by a gun store, which jury's out on who that was. Because essentially, as you said, everyone's hair looks the same. Yeah. And it's shot from the back. So you can't. And it's also like somebody wearing an oversized blazer, which could have also been the lady look at the time, too.
Anybody. So like worst trial of all time would just be like witness after witness with the same hair.
Yeah, and just being like, is it Axl Rose? Is it Stephanie Seymour? Is it Slash? Is it Duff? Right. Is it Dizzy? Is it Izzy? Is it? We don't know who it is because they all kind of look
Lizzie?
the same.
Is it Fizzy? Is it
Jizzy? Thin Lizzy? Is it Jizzy?
Yeah, Jizzy, my favorite member of Guns N' Roses.
Yes, Jizzy, incredible musician. Anyway, so we can't focus on that too long because now it's time to go to the reception, and suddenly, Mr. and Mrs. Main Man are cutting the cake. And Axl's wearing, I think, like I said, like a crushed blue velvet jacket, which you called curtains.
Shiny. It looked like now that you say it, just looked like cheap Joanne fabrics. Like
it's all Joanne's. That's what I was saying during the recording. Is that like somebody went to Joanne's Fabrics the night before and got it all ready.
Yeah.
But so do you remember how last episode I said this is kind of like the Barbenheimer of its day?
Oh, so it's like a mashup.
So this is what I mean. So as far as my experience with it was, I remember like my sister and like older girl cousins all being obsessed with this music video, which felt really insane because Guns N' Roses were like the rock and roll, like metal, like heavy bad boys and stuff. And like, that's not anything that they would have ever played on their like Walkman cassette players. But suddenly we were all like transfixed to this music video, like all the time showing. Right. Exactly. It was like this really weird, like overlap.
Yeah, interesting.
And, you know what I mean? Like it was strange. And I know that rock stars don't exist anymore, but to this day, in my mind, this is what all rock star weddings look like. Anytime somebody says that like a rock star got married, I'm like, it's November Rain. That's it. This is exactly what it looks like. This is exactly what happens to every rock star wedding.
I'm going to pretend that's true.
No, it is. It's in my mind, it's absolute fact. And then there's all these little like story beats that feel like, Slash would totally forget the rings because he probably drank a gallon of vodka the night before. And like Duff obviously would be the one to keep it together. And Axl obviously would be Bridezilla and have like 17 wardrobe changes, each more like, heightened than the previous one.
He is Bridezilla, dude.
He's totally Bridezilla. So it's like it's
He had,
weird
like,
and it's funny.
8 outfits.
So many changes, and it's very like they're written to be like characters that are like these kind of comical versions of themselves almost, which is what's really funny. And knowing what I know about the band, like for real, like it's consistent with how they are.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you don't have actors, that's best you can do is be like, just be versions of yourself.
Yeah. And then, they're at the reception. Everyone's dancing. Everyone's smoking cigarettes, which is my other favorite thing about this. It's like so 90s.
Oh, the 90s, man.
Yeah. Including the bride, by the way, which at that time would have been like, you would have never seen like a bride smoking a cigarette on her wedding day. That would have been like so uncouth.
And I want to point out, we said this before, but everything smelled like cigarettes, you guys.
Yep.
Everywhere you went had a tinge of cigarette smell.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And it's like your classic kind of wedding, whatever. It's like, the old people dancing and then like the young person dancing with the older person. And then there's the band
the
and
kids
the
dancing
saxophonist.
together.
Yeah. All that kind of stuff.
Saxophonist, that was fun.
That was probably like the peak moment for you in the entire music video. It was like there's a cut to one saxophonist and you're like, this is the best part of the video.
It was a tenor. I don't play tenor. Go on.
And then, of course, it starts November raining. And then once it starts November raining, everyone's scrambling to get their clothes, to like not get their clothes wet and to run inside. And then the reception culminates.
Tucks back to rentals. Like they can't get it wet.
What's his name? Joss A. something. I forget what the tux. Joss A. Banks is like, he's going to screw me. I'm going to have to pay like $600.
Joss is going to be literally like personally execute me if I bring this back wet.
It's true. And then the reception culminates in another absolutely iconic moment in a music video. And this is like the same. It's like it's like the fifth in the same music video, which is some Yahoo jumps through, as you point out, the $200 wedding cake, because apparently you're buying wedding cakes from like the 1800s. No wedding cake has cost $200 for like 60 years, Hannah. I don't know
not where I'm from. We traded our like art skills and like website design for all of our stuff. So we did not pay anything.
This is like a 5-tier wedding cake, by the way. If you're listening to this and you know the cost of yeah, 100% that costs thousands.
What's the point of that? Everyone's gonna eat it.
That's what you're supposed to get, a nice wedding cake.
Eat money. How about that?
That's how many people feel about weddings. Money would be delicious.
Don't get me going on the wedding industry. It's a giant.
Wedding industrial complex.
It is such a ripoff. Here, you need this $2,000 cake. No, I don't. I can eat cupcakes I made.
We had cupcakes at our wedding, actually.
We did too.
We did, because it was. Here's your hack, ladies and gentlemen. If you get married, if you have cupcakes, you don't have to pay the person to cut the cake and plate them and then wash all those dishes and forks. If you just have everybody grab a cupcake and then you have like one little tiny cake for yourselves to cut, it saves you like lots of money.
That's what we did.
That's what we did too. Anyway,
and
the guy jumps through the
cute.
It's cute, and it's everyone's got their own individual little piece, and they can come grab it, and it's fine. But let me tell you, that image though, it's another one. Like it just lives in my brain rent free of the guy diving through the cake.
The cake. He ruined that cake.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I paid money for that. I'm eating that off of your coat.
I don't care. You would do that even if you hadn't paid money for that. You'd be like, it's a perfectly good cake. I could just still eat it off a coat. I don't care. It's fine.
It's true.
Dumpster dive.
Ding, ding. You're right.
You're going to be the employee at Joss A. Banks being like, I know it's covered in wedding cake, but I'm still going to eat it before I take it back.
Give me a minute. I'm going to suck this cake right off this outfit.
I'm going to help you out, bro. I know that you want to get your deposit back. You don't call me Hannah Vacuum Cleaner Hillam for nothing. Gaping the cake jacket.
And sadly, it's only because I gape cake jacket. It's nothing else.
Gape cake.
Gape cake jacket. I told you I'm bringing chaos today.
Yeah. Hannah Gape Cake Hillam. And then
I just pictured me like unhinging my jaw like a snake and putting an
You're like
entire
Kirby.
wedding cake
Yeah, I just
into it. Oh, she's gaping
like suck it all.
it.
Yeah, gaping the cake.
I have an audience for some reason.
These days that would be a YouTube channel. Watch Hannah gape this cake. Can she gape this cake before a man dives through it? If she can, she wins the full value of this $200 cake.
Look. Go on.
I'm looking.
I don't have anything.
Anyway, dives through the cake and brings it to the great mystery of this entire story. And the reason that I've had this tab open in my brain for 30 years, as well as everybody else's. As the song shifts into a dramatic march section, suddenly, without any explanation, they hard cut to Elizabeth in a coffin because she is dead.
She's dead, dude. And it was so fast that it took me like a second to be like, wait, that's a coffin. What's she doing in there? Who killed her?
Yep. And
Who
listen,
killed her?
take you back to 1990s. There's no way to reach out. You can't just go on your phone or go on Reddit. You can't go on Twitter or MySpace and start sharing theories and being like, what's the deal? You can't outsource this anymore. Everyone's just sort of like going insane. And then you would go talk to somebody at like school or like somebody that you knew. It'd just be like, how about that November Rain music video? What happened? Did she die?
Years.
Did he kill her? Did she kill herself? Did Slash have something to do with this? Was she on the Epstein list? Like, I don't understand what happened.
Slash forgot to bring the gun. He has nothing to do with this.
That's true. Slash wouldn't. But there's also that conspiracy that people have where like, why did Slash leave and go play a guitar solo as soon as they said their vows?
Oh, no.
I don't personally believe that, but I know that that's one that a lot of people subscribe to. They're like, there's something you're not paying attention to.
Yeah.
Anyway, chaos. Okay. And this is like absolute chaos. And imagine you're not being inundated with all kinds of information and all the stuff that we're seeing right now. So it's like a thing that everybody fixated on. They kept playing the music video over and over again. So people were like, what? So now Axl and the boys have gone from happy fun times at his wedding to her funeral, which by the way is open casket. And again, whole nine, eulogy, procession, burial, etc. Spared no expense. Same church. And as they lower her body into the ground, sadly not a bog, it begins November raining again. But this time, doesn't matter. There's all this frantic intercutting until the finale, which is Elizabeth tossing her white bouquet at the wedding. And we see it fly in the air and turn to red as it lands on her coffin. I actually think that's a really awesome shot. It's a really interesting transition. It was like
heavy-handed, but in a beautiful way. It was nice closing. That's a nice closing shot.
It's a really nice way to end the music video. And then it's like, Axl's FMLing by himself in the rain over the grave. And then he wakes up. Because remember, he took sleeping pills at the beginning.
Oh,
was it
it all a dream?
Or was it a memory?
Oh.
No one knows.
What? Okay, but this is all based on a short story, which means we do know, right?
Listen, everyone... Let's lie down for a moment. So
okay, I will.
Everyone was shook back then, and to this day, people are still shook. And as of this recording, I don't know if you saw it, but November Rain has 2.3 billion plays on YouTube.
Whoa.
So this isn't just me being like, oh, I'm a weird old person who's like still fixated on this one thing. This is still like a very important like cultural holdover from the 90s.
Yeah, everyone in the comments is just like, I'm obsessed with this. My dad wants me to play this at his funeral. Wow. Everyone's like, see, I thought it was like goofy and funny, but everyone in the comments is like, this has changed my life.
No, it is goofy and funny, but it's also, listen, you know what this reminds me of is like, this is probably my closest thing to like a musical, like the whole like campy, like over the top thing that I know a lot of the musical kids like are obsessed with. This is like the only one I have of those where I'm like, I know that it's a disaster and I know that it's cheesy as shit, but it's also kind of like weirdly funny, like weirdly interesting, like
deep.
Listen, deep. Okay, so hold on. I'll jump ahead a little bit in my notes, but there's a million articles written about this. But I love this excerpt from Brightwall/Dark Room. It's a website. And they said, November Rain offers no commentary on the state of the world. It's a clip designed for people who like Guns N' Roses and for people who watch MTV all day. As such, it rewards rewatching. It's a jumble of scenes and confusing timeline unfold more clearly for an experienced eye as the brilliance behind the excess becomes clear. But here's my favorite part of what they wrote. Maybe it's a little clumsy, a little boneheaded. A little like watching the jocks and bullies try to star in the school play, but it's an unblinking attempt, which I think is like, that's the perfect unblinking of like, that's their earnest attempt at like absolute sincerity, which is why I think it's so, you kind of can't turn away, even though like us who are artists and like whatever would be like, oh, this is so gaudy, we wouldn't do this. But like, I think there's something kind of interesting about it.
And it's of its time. And it's like it's like a pinnacle of what was happening at the time.
Yeah, and also,
go ahead. Sorry,
no, it's true.
That's what I felt like with the other one I watched too, the Don't Cry or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just a jumble of scenes, which is genius because then everyone wants to like somehow pause the scene and see what's happening, and you know, it's like it adds to it. But it is what is it? Unblinking.
Yeah.
That's a great way to describe what was just happening.
It's the jocks trying to put on a play, but like and as sincere as possible.
So earnest. Everything about it is
super
like
earnest.
Check out what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting contrast to like, you know, the band that drinks a bottle of Jack Daniels when they wake up and then fights people and like, you know, sets themselves on fire and stuff. Which is not something you would necessarily
Oasis,
see.
Their tour is going well. I heard.
Anyway, so it should be noted, no official explanation was or has ever been given by anyone in the band or the creative team that put it together, either because they want it to remain open to interpretation or they didn't really know.
There is none.
But a few things are pretty obvious, while
Okay.
other things still remain unclear, even after having read the short story.
Okay.
But
okay.
the first thing I'll say is, don't forget, these videos are inspired by Dell's short story. It's not an exact, what's the word I'm thinking of, adaptation of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I can tell you, when you read something and then you turn it into film, it's like you're supposed to take whatever the essence and the idea
Of course,
and sort of
yeah.
what the creative spirit of this thing is before you make it into a film. Because if you do too much of like a literal interpretation of it, it doesn't necessarily, it
That's a
doesn't
TV
translate from
series.
medium to medium. And I think having read the short story with all the problems I have with it, I'm like, it's kind of an interesting interpretation of the short story because
Okay.
a lot of the form of how it works and how it functions is how the music videos end up playing out. And because the story itself, not much happens in it, but I'm going to give you, so now I'm going to explain the short story. So the short begins with main man, who is Axl Rose's character, waking up from a recurring nightmare in a cold sweat. The same one where he ogles a sexy dancing lady who then puts a gun to her head.
Okay.
His home is thrashed from the night before, but he slams a Budweiser and looks for more booze because he's got a raging hangover.
Devastating.
Yeah.
It's really sad already.
Also, he needed to be at the studio soon to supervise the mix of his latest record, imaginatively titled Alone.
Yeah. Heavy-handed.
Oh, it's very heavy-handed, much like the music video.
Unapologetically so, I think.
Yeah, then he goes skiing, if you know what I mean, and drinks some whiskey and can properly begin his day. And as he's starting to sort of wake up a little bit, he picks up the phone and calls 411 to ask the operator what day it is. It was Wednesday.
Forgot all about 411.
Yeah. Then he cleans up a little bit because he's just like, okay, I got to get it together. Like, blah, 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 blah. He grabs like a trash can and throws away some of like whatever, the red cups and all that crap. And then his mind starts to wander. And this is a passage that I really liked in it. Quote, inside his mind, he analyzed why his relationship with Elizabeth had failed more times than were countable. Like the scholar he wasn't, he dissected situations, pondering he should have said and shouldn't have been caught doing. I just love the scholar he wasn't.
So far, this is, instance by instance, exactly how my day's gone today.
Really? Like the scholar you weren't?
No, cocaine.
Oh, cocaine, drinking a bunch, cleaning.
Trash can.
Yeah, it's very like you said, moment to moment, kind of like inside his own head of just being like, I'm going to do this. And this reminds me of this thing. And then I'm doing this thing. And then this reminds me of this. And then I should probably do this. But then I remember this thing from like 10 years ago, which if you look at the form of the video, right? Like the video's intercutting. It's like jumping time over and over again. It does kind of meander in that way where it feels kind of like what's going on inside your head.
Like,
so that's what I mean. It's interesting that he takes the form and like how they adapt it to the film version of it as opposed to what the short story is. Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
but it's not literal.
Really does like show like the way like a rock star on drugs and drunk and performing would be seeing the world. It's just like one thing after the other. I guess I'm here. Okay, now I'm here. Okay, now I'm here. Now I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Which
it's a lot of
And
associations.
also, I did not do cocaine this morning for full. Just need everyone to know that.
Or did you? We don't know. Much like the November Rain music video, this podcast will be analyzed 30 years from now when somebody else has a tab open in their brains for whatever the next medium's going to be.
Yeah.
And then they adapt it into like 16 music videos. So from there, it goes into a very predictable backstory. Blah, blah, blah. Just because, Maine would stray from the relationship sometimes didn't mean he didn't love Elizabeth. Blah, blah, blah. Justification. And on the first big tour with his previous band, Suicide Shift, great band name, by the way.
That's a great
He tries to
name.
get her to come out so he can be accountable because he's like, it's so hard without you on the road.
We're going to put her in charge of his actions. Yeah.
100%.
Easy. Great. That's what we're here
That's
for.
That's the mature way of doing
That's
it. Yeah.
women.
So unfortunately,
if we're not around, something bad's going to happen.
What are we supposed to do? But unfortunately for him, she has a life of her own, so she can only fly out every few weeks.
Good for her.
And back and forth, back and forth. He does drugs, more performing, getting off in front of the crowd, etc., so on and so forth, until the last night of the tour, Elizabeth comes to surprise him, but tragically catches Maine in the middle of a three-way.
Oh, I feel like if I walked in on that, I'd probably just laugh first and then be mad. I'd be like, oh, this? Okay.
I'd probably sit down and look at my phone and be like, let me know when you're done. All right. I'm like, I had a schedule to keep. I don't have time
and
to
you,
argue.
Yeah. I came here for you and yeah.
Finish up so we can fight about this. No. So he's in the middle of a three-way. She storms off. He's like, we can be a throuple, but those hadn't been invented yet. So because he's too forward thinking, and it's like, no, blah, 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 and then it's over. Then we snap back to present day, where he tries to call her, but no answer. So instead, he calls his dealer Jamie. Jamie comes over and gives him the goods, and then whatever. There's like a weird exchange, and then he leaves. And his maid is about to shoot up. He sees an old photo album, and he remembers a trip with Elizabeth to Vegas and starts to jork it using Dom Perignon as lube.
No, he doesn't.
He absolutely does.
This is in the story?
This is in the story.
Okay, all right. Hold on. Okay. If a friend wrote a story about me and this was in it, I'd be like, buddy.
You'd be like, first of all,
how did you
I'm
know what I
gaping
was
cake.
doing?
I'm not using Dom Perignon.
I use it to gape cake, but not to jork it, as you just said. Jorking the cake. If I were him and reading this, I'd be like, okay.
Listen, I don't want to get into all the specifics of this, but first of all, champagne, sticky.
Yeah,
not a great idea.
It's
not a good
sugary.
option.
It's like
terrible option. Terrible option. You got to use that nice extra virgin Italian olive oil.
You get literally anything but champagne.
Motor oil. That would have been better.
Motor oil's fine. Anything. Nothing is better
Dom
than
Perignon.
champagne.
That's excess. It's like I can't even be bothered to use like working class Vaseline. I have to drink Dom Perignon.
Okay. Why didn't they put that in the music video? I'm pissed.
That's what I said. I was like, that should have just been the entire film.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you know how much I would have screamed so loud? I would not
it would
have
have been amazing to see you screaming at that.
Yeah.
I think I said this last episode too. A lot of it just ends up turning into like this weird. Like, parts of it just meander into weird erotic fiction kind of stuff where it's like
Dennis Reynolds' an erotic life.
Yeah, it's literally what it is. And then this is a real quote, by the way, from the story. Quote.
Okay.
As he took hold of his wet erection, his thoughts began to slip.
No. Why are you doing this to me? Okay, all right. What? Don't use the word wet. Okay, go on. It's fine.
Wet and sticky. Let's say that too. His thoughts began to slip.
It's going to be a weird Kumatab, I'll tell you that.
Oh, him jerking off. That has to be one of the things that come in is that like when they have to give him an action, it's like somebody's in the middle of jorking it with Dom Perignon and then somebody else comes in. Again. Anyway, so in the middle of jorking it, he remembers Without You as his side of the story, not an apology per se. So his mind's wandering in the middle of it. He can't even focus on the jork. The song ends up being a massive hit. You're not fully
all
into
this
it.
Champagne and I can't even focus.
Can't even jork it to climax.
Keep going.
So Without You does end up becoming a massive hit. Like I said last time, it ends up being like a part of what pays for his like mansions and stuff. It's huge. And he was so generous and he felt so bad that he offered her half the royalties since it was about their relationship, but she politely declined. She was like, please just go away and leave me alone.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of it.
Wow.
So and he tours more and he goes around and he's feeling better. He's trying to clean his life up. And on the homecoming show in Los Angeles, he really, 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 really wants her to be there. So he's calling her over and over and he's like leaving her a backstage pass and he's like looking in the crowd and going
just
crazy.
Call her over and over and over. It does the trick.
It's always, it works best. After the 100th call, it's like that meme of like people, it's like 99% of gamblers don't know that like on the 100th try, that's when they're going to strike big. That's like the same mentality. Exactly. The 100th call is when she'll finally turn. But he's playing the show and he's called her a bunch and he's like, he leaves her a backstage pass and he's looking in the crowd and he's going crazy, but she never shows. So he skips all the post-show partying and he takes a limo to her house. And on the way, he keeps calling her and he's like, I don't care. I'm going to come up because I still love you. And we need to blah, 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 blah. And she doesn't pick up. And he's like, come on, you got to pick up. And I don't care. I'm coming to your place. And he's walking up the stairs to her front door and he hears Without You playing full blast.
Huh.
And as he walks up to knock on the door, he hears a gunshot.
Yeah, there it is. He wishes that this was about him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He breaks in.
All right.
And he finds her unalived. She unalived herself.
She did.
And in a moment of desperation, he grabs the gun and he tries to join her. But it just goes click. The chamber was empty. And then he remembers a blowjob from Vegas and his edge fest is complete. That's literally the story. In the story, yeah.
You are kidding me.
I'm not joking.
What?
There's a little bit more writing between the two of those things that are bridged, but that's essentially the beats of what happens in that succession. Remember, it's non-linear. It's just going all these other places. So he's like in the middle of this, he remembered that. And then he remembered the champagne. And he's like, oh, we used to drink champagne in Vegas. And then he was in Vegas. He remembered like a blowjob that she gave her.
Blowjob.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
And then Edgefest is over. And he's like, bleh. And then he snaps back to being sad in front of the photo album.
Wow. Okay, give me a second. This is an Always Sunny episode.
Yeah.
This is, like, I know I joked about it being a Dennis Reynolds an erotic life, but this is actually what Dennis Reynolds would do. He'd be like, oh, I'm not going to kill myself because I remember what blowjobs are like.
Brings me back.
Sorry, I'm a little speechless right now. Like,
that's the point.
I still can't handle the fact that he wrote this about his friend.
Yep.
And then published it.
Mm-hmm. And his friend was like, hell yeah.
Videos. His friend was like, this is the best. You got it.
He's like, I'm going to write you inspired me to write a song.
You know me so well. I'm going to write a song about this book you wrote about me jacking off to a picture album of my suicided ex-wife.
This is everything you're saying is correct. Nothing that you've said is incorrect or an exaggeration. Every single beat that you've described is fact.
All right. So, okay. All right.
Okay. So in the story, right, she unalives herself. Yes. And in November Rain, there are clues.
That she does it. Okay.
That she does it. Aside from the gun store, right, which is like, that's the first obvious clue. There was something I'd never paid attention to until this deep dive. Okay. Which is when they show her open casket, it's very quick, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I never realized this until now. If you pay close attention, you can see that it's actually only half of her face. Have you ever seen this before?
No, I just saw this video for the first time a minute ago.
No. Not in the music video. I just mean life. Okay. So apparently, when somebody has like some sort of trauma or like something on the face that they don't want to show, what they'll do is when they still want to have an open casket, they'll clean it up and then they'll put like a mirror in the middle of the casket so that it reflects half of their face.
I had no idea. So like if they got like head trauma or something, or a bullet wound.
Or in this case, a bullet wound in the head. So I guess that to me is the big giveaway.
I think that's what happened. And also,
like you said, she's like looking sad and she's like, something ain't right. Like, and you caught on to it immediately, but like all those things put together with like her head being gone and then Axel being sad. Because again, I was too little, but I was like, well, did he kill her? Like, was she murdered? What's the deal? But like, you know, although it is kind of funny that you said that like Axel doesn't look like he's sorry enough or he's not sad enough so that you're like, did he kill her and got away with it? Yeah. Then why would he have killed her? But now that I'm going to
blitzed out of his mind on like drugs and sex that he's like,
I think that's more of what it is. Yeah.
Because here's what it looks like to me. So the music video is the bookends of the story that you just told me. So it's like the tossing and turning in bed and then the remembering and then they just omit all of the jacking off and suicide.
Sadly. It's a questionable choice. Yeah.
I know. Unbelievable. And then pick up again at her funeral. So it's like more like inferred. Like, okay, go read the story and then you can know what happened in the middle of between the wedding and the funeral.
Effectively what they kept saying in every interview that they would have with them. Be like, oh, it's based on this short story by This is why I've had the tab open in my mind forever because they kept being like, if you want to know what happens, go. And I'm like, where am I supposed to find the short story? I don't have access to this.
Not
I'm
the
10.
Library.
Yeah.
Well,
10-year-olds aren't allowed to read stories about jerking it to Dom Perignon.
Don't want to give him any ideas.
And of course Elizabeth, she's got like, she's like Job. She's like, I've made a huge mistake like that. And that's why Axel's like so happy and she's so not feeling it because effectively
she is
like
not happy at the wedding. She's so upset. She's just like dead. Her eyes look dead. She's like, that was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, she's not happy to be here at all. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was smiling at my wedding.
Yeah, me too. I was
like
thrilled.
A lot. I was delighted.
And granted, all this doesn't happen in the short, but I believe the whole dream is a memory, or as I like to call it now, a dreamery. It's about Maine's regrets of trying to make fetch happen and using his incredible rock star charisma and reality distortion field to convince his girlfriend to get married. And that's why he's Bridezilla and she's the gloomy groom.
She is.
And Axl even said that November Rain, he said that November Rain is about unrequited love. That's what the song itself is about. So
So she didn't even, oh my God.
She didn't want to do it. So this is his and Fidel's filmic expression of that. The harder he loved her, the more he drove her mad. So mad that she too wanted to be one with the bog. And now Maine is doomed to live with the guilt of having done that to her.
Yeah. He'll forget about it after enough drugs.
Yeah.
But
remember, people, other people are, they're not NPCs. They have internal lives as well.
Yeah. They don't, not everything revolves around like you and your career. But I'd like to say you said you're calling memories dreameries. I'm going to say, let's call these wet dreameries.
Wet dreameries. Wet with Dom Perignon, of course.
But
dreameries. But Elizabeth's unaliving was not the end of the short story.
What? Oh, what else? What else does this guy do? What else does he jack off to? Tell me.
And as they were going to film the music video for Estranged, the third and final chapter of the music video trilogy, something unexpected but completely predictable happened. Stephanie Seymour and Axl Rose called it quits in real life. Hard. They got into like a huge fight. They're suing each other and shit. And ain't no contracts to appear in a music video together being honored by anyone. But without their lead actress, how would they film the epic conclusion of Without You?
Oh, no.
And I'm sorry.
No.
But I will conclude this idiotic stretch of the dumbest series of tabs.
Your first three-parter is on this?
Listen, I am being held hostage. I'm being held hostage by this. And I have to close the loop. I have to close it.
I'm so excited. This is the first three-parter.
I'm so embarrassed that this is my three-parter because none of this matters, but I can't, I have to for my own sake. I'm sorry. I'm like holding everybody else hostage with this, but I have to get rid of it. I have to finish it. I have to be able to get it out of my brain forever.
Please. This is what this show is for. This is get that champagne, lube up your brain and get it all out.
Listen, you can do it with a bunch of mums. You don't have to do it with Dom Perignon if you can't afford it.
You can do it with almost anything, turns out.
Anyway, all I'm going to say is...
Unbelievable.
For Estranged, they edge-sisted and managed to deliver a almost 10-minute epic of epics with a budget that ballooned to more than $4 million.
That's right. Oh. Insane, dude.
Yep.
Okay.
Totally stupid. But...
What in the world? That was a trip. You took me on a trip. I loved that.
The dumbest series of tabs I've ever done.
I know. I'm not even kidding. I love that. I love that.
Okay,
this is
good.
What you're doing a three-parter on. It's incredible. I'm celebrating the first three-parter in history of open tabs. What's our podcast called? 500 open tabs.
500 open tabs. Well, does you did the 4-part LGBT?
I saw that more as like that's not one story. That was like a series.
I guess so.
Say. This is a 3-part story.
I cannot believe that this is a 3-part story, and I'm just as shocked by this as you are.
But
I just kept writing, and I'm like, I can't. I was like, I have to finish I have to close the loop. This is like a mental illness for me.
Yes. No, I know. This whole podcast is a mental illness for both of us. All right. And the 3-part, it makes a perfect 3-parter because there's 3 music videos.
It's a trilogy. I never thought I'd have this much to say and write about the Guns N' Roses November Rain trilogy, but here we are. Bro, you think those two are like insane? Just wait till you see Estranged. Estranged is even more like stupid and like doesn't make sense. I love it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. So in the meantime, don't watch Estranged, but you have now watched. You're like, oh, don't worry, that's not to be a problem for me.
I won't.
And this is a perfect reminder before we go into your tab. If you haven't, sign up for our Patreon because that's where you can see Hannah's live reaction to us having watched November Rain at the beginning of this episode. Scream reaction where she gaped cakes.
I gaped a cake, man.
We're going to do a gape caking live stream at some point, just seeing how much cake you can eat.
I think that'd be my lowest point. I think I would that's my rock bottom. Doing a live stream of me trying to fit a whole cake in my mouth. Pathetic.
Gaping cakes.
Gaping cakes. You know, I know. Whoa, you have a huge mouth. Hold on.
That's going to be on the thumbnails, both of us going. Please don't screen cap that, Alyssa. That's my idiotic tab. Come back next week
Incredible.
for the conclusion. I promise next week it'll be done.
Sure. Sure,
Yeah, right.
Jan.
Or will it? Or did she unalive
Or
herself? Or
did she? Or
did
is
she?
it?
Or is it?
Or did he jerk it with champagne?
Pour yourself a glass of Dom Perignon, because we're getting ready to go on to Hannah Hillam's tab for this
Yeah.
week. Hannah, what you got for us?
It's funny that you even bring up lube at all. Because, well, actually, that's more like, no, I'll get to it.
Okay.
So, my tab. This is, again, this happens every time, right? Where I'm like, this is really interesting. And then I realize it's gigantic and there's way more than I could ever cover. So at the end, I'll point to like a good book, because that's where I'm at with this. I'm reading a book. But before I get into what it is, I'm going to give a little like background. Okay. So the year is 2019. Just right before the pandemic. Everything feels scary, but it wasn't actually scary, because now that we're really in it,
Now it's so much more scary.
Way worse. Remember when we were like 2016, what a crazy year, and now we're like, cool, I hope
like,
we
now I look
survive to
back.
next year.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I look back and being like, I wish it was 2016 again.
I thought, dude, I believed in politicians a little bit. Like an idiot.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, so the year is 2016, and we're in a place called Greeley, Colorado. And I don't know where that is, besides it being in Colorado.
Okay.
And an elderly
Jokic
woman.
is there. Can Jokic be in this there for the story?
Let's say
Hanging
that
out?
Jokic is in this all of this.
Okay.
He's there.
Good.
He's like walking down the street.
He's on a horse.
He's riding a horse down the street of Greeley, Colorado, and
Perfect.
An elderly woman named Miss Ackerman has just died, and she left behind no living relatives, no next of kin, nothing. And her neighbors knew her as an eccentric hoarder who lived alone in a huge mansion filled with her vast antique collection.
This is very
All right.
Grey Gardens, basically, is what you're saying.
Very much so. And
Okay.
sure, for right now it is.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to tell you this story. It goes everywhere.
Okay.
Just like Mr. Man, what's his name?
Main man.
Does when he jorks it to the champagne. I'm never going to stop talking about that.
Jorkin.
And in her Jorkin in her
Aaron
will.
Jorkin, writer of a generation. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Jizzer of a generation. In her will, whatever. In her will, she had asked that all of her possessions be auctioned off and the money donated to local pet shelters. So very Grey Gardens.
Okay.
It took about 3 weeks to go through and catalog every item in her large home. And at the end of the 3 weeks, there was only one section of the home left. And it was the attic, which was locked. And so they go up there, they open this attic, and they found inside what looked like a medium-sized piece of furniture under a dusty sheet, right? And they're like, what's that? They pull the sheet off, and they are met with a bizarre and wild-looking machine. Its use, a complete mystery upon first inspection. So I'm going to send you a picture of this machine that they find in this attic, okay?
Okay.
This is the machine.
Whoa. Okay. So it looks like I don't even know what the shit this is. So the bottom part looks like it's a record player, and then there's like some weird thing in the middle. This looks like something from, what was the Christopher Nolan movie with the magicians? I always forget. There's like two of them.
Oh, Prestige?
Prestige. Yeah, it looks like some prop from the Prestige where like there's light bulbs, like, and then are those, what are those things called where when we were kids, where you had like the ice cream cone and then you had like the ping pong ball with the string attached to it, and you would try and catch the thing, but like the metal version of it, and then the inside is like a lantern, and then on the sides it's like speakers.
Yeah, that's
but
what
like the old timey speakers that you used to put your ear directly up to.
But it looks like a gramophone kind of.
There's a balance of like, you know, the Justice Lady with like the weight balancy thing.
Yep.
What is it called? You know what I'm talking about?
Like the lady
Lady Justice, right?
Justice.
But like, what are those things called where like the weight is on, it's like the tray with the chain on it?
A scale.
Scales, yeah. Well, I don't know if it had a specific name.
They're scales.
And then there's like a bell in the middle of it or something. But it's perfectly symmetrical, it looks like. And
it's perfectly symmetrical, and it is extremely confusing. Like, when they first look at it, they're like, what is this even? We don't even know what this is. Like, it's at first they're like, is it a record player? Is it a... But as they look closer, they realize there is a little clue on it. And you can't really see it in the photo, but if you look close, there's a plaque.
Yeah,
and
I was looking at that.
The plaque
John
says...
Murray Spear?
The plaque says John Murray Spear, and above it, it says, new motive power. Motive, not mode of. new motive power. So
Okay.
they didn't have to do much Googling before they found what they were looking for, because this thing,
Sorry, what year was this again where they found it?
2019.
2019, that's right. Okay.
And in all their Googling, they come across John Murray Spear and what he calls his mechanical messiah, which is an automaton that he tried to build at the direction of a group of ghosts who instructed him that for Jesus to come back, he needed a body.
What?
And John Murray
This is a Jesus
Spear,
robot from the ghosts?
This is like a god machine. It was born out of the spiritualist movement. And yeah, insane. So they thought that this thing was destroyed 150 years ago. And yeah, they find this. It's either a replica. They don't really know if it's the actual thing or if it's a replica, but it is from the actual time of this machine that was built. They don't know if it had been rebuilt, whatever. All they know is they found this. It is labeled new motive power, and it is from this guy named John Murray Spear. And it is the mechanical messiah. So before I can get yeah. This is it. Truly, I thought I knew everything insane that this happened in this country.
How does
Yeah, we'll get there.
How is
dude.
Jesus supposed to function in this thing?
Well, you'll see.
Is it they captured Jesus' soul
Yeah.
in the glass part?
So that's kind of like the lungs area. Like, so it's all very, you know what? I think I'm just going to have to get to it. Okay.
This feels like it's from Return to Oz. It also kind of reminds me of that.
It feels like it's like a delirium, like a steampunk delirium. Like,
Looks like
and this
Charles
was-
Del Shaw would have designed this.
100%. And this is around the same time as Charles Del Shaw. So sort of. So before we can make sense of how Robo Jesus
Weird.
came to be.
Yeah.
We
Sorry,
need to
I'm like totally
first
distracted by it.
get to know John Murray Spear
Okay.
and the world he was part of and what led to him channeling the ghosts of dead presidents in order to build a body for the returning Christ. All right? So this is insane.
I'm like,
So if you-
I'm trying to see where the connections are.
Oh, don't worry. This won't make any sense at all. at the
George
end.
Washington has something to do with the return of Christ. Oh,
No.
the dead presidents are speaking to him, giving him directions.
They are
I
telling
see.
him what to do. And
I
not just
see.
presidents, but founding fathers and philosophers. And
Listen,
Anyway,
all the most
so-
important people in the history of the world all wanted to talk to this guy.
it was
Isn't that
just
a weird
a group of
coincidence?
slave-owning Americans. Yeah.
Weird coincidence. You'd think they would want to talk to
Weird.
other people and spread their knowledge,
Right.
but no,
No,
they're
it's
like,
just this one guy.
You gotta talk to
Uh,
you, bro. You're the most important
so-
person in the world.
This guy, John Murray Spear.
It must feel nice to be to feel that important. I wish I felt that
Being
important.
delusional must be an absolute blast sometimes. You know? How fun. You're like, cool, Thomas Jefferson just told me to build Christ. This is going to be awesome. Okay, so John Murray Spear. He was born in 1804 in Boston, Massachusetts. And when he was 8, his father died suddenly, leaving him and his brother Charles to have to go into the factories to earn money. So Charles was 10 and he was 8, and they went to work in a cotton factory
Okay.
for like 10-hour days. So, regular kid stuff. And
Imagine having
they-
that kind of work stability. Man, I would love to have 10 hours of work every day.
10 hours a day. Dude, I would give
Paid
anything.
work.
Look, bring back factories, I guess.
Yeah. I don't care
No,
about freelance anymore. I need a real
No.
job. I need a 401k.
Give me some money.
Sign
I'd like
up
to
for Patreon.
retire.
Yeah.
Sign up for the Patreon. You should be look, we'll go to work at the Patreon factories, okay? Just
That's true. That's kind of what we are. You are the patrons.
I always tell Sean, I'm like, just another day in the art mines. Mining for art.
Equally as dangerous.
Yeah, just in my little chair with my sketchbook, I could easily lose a finger.
We're drawing cartoons. Our lives are hard.
Look at me. Look at my fun commentary on mental health. Oh. I've had a Hillerman. I have something to say.
Here's an animal. That's not where it's supposed to be.
We are indispensable. No one should ever get rid of us.
Society
I don't know why
should
we're
value
talking
us
about Mickey Mouse, but whatever.
Yeah.
John Murray Spear, child worker, was also raised in what was called the Universalist Church. So at the time, let me give a little background on the area. Like the East Coast of the United States at the time was like absolutely bonkers. In 1820, 1830,
Yeah.
there was a billion new religions being created. The spiritualist movement was about to take off. And for example, that's where Mormonism came from. That's where the Oneida colony came from. That's where the Fox sisters came from. And the Fox sisters went on to be like these spiritualist mediums who like kind of tricked the whole world, but set off a movement. It's where the Shakers came from. So there was all these like movements that came from the especially New York. It was called the Burnt Over District. And at the time, everyone was kind of like getting super into like prophecy and like kind of occult stuff. So
Yeah.
accessing spirituality through like folk magic and occult sort of things.
We've crossed this topic a couple of times on our show. Yeah. One was I did one with Kurosh when he was on about the automaton. That was like the skeleton trying to trick people into confessions because it was about spiritualism. That was like early 1900s. And of course the moonbat people were sort of born out of that same what's the word I'm thinking of? The same phenomenon, like the same hysteria that had taken over. And it's in that sort of same fertile ground of when that comes out. So I remember this very well. Yeah, it is crazy.
And the Universalist Church had been founded in Europe a couple hundred years before. And it was interesting because it went against the typical belief that, I know we talked about this in the Puritan episode with Anne Hutchison, but Puritans believed that you were evil and you had to earn your way back to God. And Universalists believe that everyone is going to be saved and there is no hell. So it was more of a kind of a soft, like nice God. Nice God will forgive you.
They have a studio right down the street from here. It's great.
Do they?
Universal.
Studios. I was going to say Universalists are still around, so I thought maybe they did. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. No, they got a studio. It's great. They have Super Mario Land, Super Nintendo World that's there. It's much better than the Warner Brotherists or the Disneyists.
They don't have really robot gods over there.
No, it's a little bit harder.
I can't wait to go see the robot god at Universal Studios. Mario. I feel absolutely insane. So the Universalists were way more liberal, actually. Like, even for the time, everyone's like, these guys are nuts. They don't believe black people should be enslaved. I don't know about these guys.
Controversial.
I know. They were abolitionists. They were feminists.
That's awesome.
Like, they helped support Victoria Woodhull's campaign, actually.
Oh,
the Universalists did.
Your girl.
Yep. Frederick Douglass was a Universalist.
Oh.
P.T. Barnum. He's not really he's not a good example of a Universalist.
Not my favorite Universalist.
They were very much involved in grassroots, like helping people and actually trying to be like Jesus. And John Murray Spear grew up in this. So he kind of grew up with this idea that everyone deserved equality and every animal and human and creation on earth deserved to be treated with respect, which at the time made everyone mad because they were like, that's insane. God hates us.
What do you mean at the time?
I know. Same. Here's the thing. Nothing's changed. Even now, everyone would be like, this guy's nuts.
Yeah. I don't know that every person deserves to be treated with respect or every animal needs to be treated. No, the earth is, it's made for me. It's I do whatever I want because that's God's will. And then I can do whatever I want because that's what if God didn't want me to do all this terrible stuff to it, then why would he have given it to me?
God made Europeans to take this whole earth over. Okay.
Listen,
that sounds like a joke, but that's genuinely what they believe.
That's half the population.
Anyway, John Murray Spear, he and his brother were both really deeply involved in like the church, and they wanted to kind of get into the ministry. So as he got out of the factories, so the church, here's the thing, the church also promoted for like women and children and everyone to learn how to read. So they would teach these kids to read. And so they, from a young age, were reading like, again, like we talked about before, there were newspapers galore. Everyone could start their own newspaper or pamphlet. And so there was a ton of reading material. And he went on to become an apprentice for a shoemaker.
Okay.
And this is I found this out about shoemakers. This is really odd. But shoemakers in particular they hate feet, dude. They want to get all of them. They hate their job. They don't want to look at another toe. Anyway, shoemakers were like the philosophers of the time.
Really?
Yeah. So So here's how it was. Like at the time, there was no automation with shoemaking. So it was like cobblers. So they were like, doing all the stretching of the leather and the forming of the shoe. And apparently it just was like day in and day out from morning till evening shoemaking. And it was this really laborious patience, required a lot of patience. And they'd get really bored. And so they'd have, I'm not even kidding, they'd have like what we would now call a podcast. They would have somebody come in and read to them while they made shoes all day. And like one of the shoemakers, they would take turns reading to each other.
Audible.com, but like
Audible.com.
Yeah.
But like, because they read so much, they had so much time to read a ton of different things. And so they were like, got to know all about like social problems, and they all the abolitionists started to become socialists. They were like at the burgeoning socialist movement. And they kickstarted, no pun intended, the labor movement.
That's so
And
funny.
isn't that crazy? I had no idea
Yeah.
that it,
It's interesting
yeah.
that they could have had someone come read a bunch of like bullshit to them as well, but
Yeah.
they were being the things that were being read to them were like good, not like
Yeah.
evil.
They were like
This is
being
interesting.
radicalized.
It could have gone easily the other direction and just been
It
like,
could have
yeah,
been,
they
like,
kickstarted the
evil.
Nazi movement 100 years before it actually happened.
So no, a bunch of bored shoemakers were like, yeah, actually we should give people equal rights and we should probably not have slavery. And so
Yeah.
they kind of were like these social reformers in the form of shoemakers. And that combined with him growing up in the Universalist church made him an extremely radical thinker. So he
Listen,
was like,
plus, if there's one person who knows what it's like to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, it's the shoemaker.
it's the shoemaker.
Does it come from there? That feels like what you're telling me is like that's where the
Interesting.
phrase originated.
I wanted to go more deep into like
Shoes.
1800s shoemakers, but like, obviously this is not that kind of podcast. So find
Daniel
that somewhere
Day-Lewis,
else.
if you're listening, we'd like to have you on the podcast where you can come
Get in
describe
here.
all of this to us, because I know that's what he
Yeah.
was doing for a while. You know how he like retired? You don't know
Yeah.
this, but he retires from acting
No, I
like
did.
every couple of years, and at one point
Yeah.
he went. I think he was like a cobbler in Italy or some shit. I don't know, but I know that he was shoemaking at some point.
Classic. That's what
So
I
that
would
guy
do.
would have done like all the research in the history of shoemaking and like everything
Yeah.
forever.
I think we would have been good shoemakers if we had.
You think so?
No, but I think that out of all the jobs, I think that one would be most fun for me because I could just sit there and maybe
Yeah,
like,
just have
pretend-
somebody else read to
tell me
us.
stuff. It's podcasting.
It really is. That's literally what it
It's
is.
podcasting. They couldn't get through work without having somebody tell them stories. So
It's ADHD brains. I fully get it.
fully. He was like, I'm kind of sick of shoemaking and I'm kind of really wanting to get like, because he had all these crazy. Here's the thing about John. He was extremely friendly. He was gentle. He was kind. Everyone loved him. He was easy to like. And he genuinely, and by all accounts, was doing his very best to help others, which was like, usually with stories that end in a mechanical Jesus, you don't really have somebody who's a good person. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Uh,
Mechanical
or you-
Jesus seems like you're like, hey, I'm trying to automate Jesusing. It's like
Yeah.
Jesus AI. You're just like, what if someone doesn't have access? It's like the original goal of what the internet and stuff was supposed to be. We're like, if we digitize
True.
it, then everyone can be saved.
I guess that's true. Well, the unique thing about
But
John
then-
Murray
yeah.
Spear is that he continued to be good for the whole time.
Good.
Like there was like this. That's why I'm so obsessed with him. Like he's this really good person.
That's
he
cool.
like believed in birth control and like he was anti-color phobic. That's what he called it. He called racism.
Anti-color phobic.
He called racism color phobia,
I see.
which he actually he decided that like, oh no, everybody's a human being, and skin color doesn't actually matter at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was odd for the time because a lot of people who were abolitionists were like, we're abolitionists, but make them go over there. We don't want them in our cities.
Mm.
And so he was a little more advanced in being like, actually, they're just people and let's
Yeah.
make sure everyone has a job and a house.
Yeah.
And no one really liked that.
Yeah.
So he
God
started,
forbid.
can you imagine? God would never want that.
No.
Before he went on to build the steampunk savior, as I like to call it, he would first heed the calling to become a minister. So he and Charlie, his brother, Charles, were taught theology under the father of universalism in the United States, Hosea Ballou, which is an insane name.
Hosea Ballou is a great name.
Yeah. And they both went on to become ministers. And between 1820 and 1830, John got married to a woman named Betsy and had 5 children. His oldest, sadly, died as an infant. And they were really deep in grief about it, understandably.
Devastated. Yeah.
And in 1930, he officially became a Universalist minister, like certified, and had his own church in Barnstable, Massachusetts, where his brother was also being a minister in like a nearby town. So they were kind of like, their families were really intertwined. They were buddies. They were participating in all these like grassroots movements for anti-slavery. And in the years that followed, he would be just deep, hands-on helping other people. He visited prisoners. He did not believe in capital punishment. He wanted to abolish it. He was a dedicated operator on the Underground Railroad and helping those who were homeless and hungry. He wanted animals to be treated well. He believed in like humane treatment of animals.
I feel like we needed a robot version of John, not a robot version of Jesus.
He's pretty close, you know? He's like
Yeah.
solid dude. And he was beloved by his community for a long time. And he was openly and intensely anti-slavery. He would find ways not just to like help escaped slaves escape, but actually find them jobs and housing and like support networks. he didn't just leave them high and dry once they got to
Yeah.
the north. He was like, no, we're going to integrate you into society. You're part of our society. You're part of our community now. He also was hated by racists, which I think is like
Nice.
one of the top
It's a
compliments.
good, yeah, it's an honor.
Yeah.
That's a badge of honor, I think.
I would be honored if I was hated by racists. I hope I am.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I want to piss racists off. So, and here's the thing. He was, even the Universalists after a while were like, hey, buddy, maybe we shouldn't like get rid of all prisons. So a lot of white Christian abolitionists were unsure of mixing religion with politics. And John rightly saw through that BS and was like, hey, owning people isn't politics. It's like a human rights thing.
Yeah.
And we're not calling this politics. We should just get rid of this because it's against everything God wants.
Yeah.
And he believed that everyone should have that as their baseline universal truth. It's like, you shouldn't own people.
Yep.
You also shouldn't imprison people or children for nothing. And, women are people too. Crazy. And he started doing speeches because people liked what he was saying. He was doing this at his church, but then he started doing speeches and traveling around the East Coast and in New England and doing lectures and speeches on the support of abolition of slavery, traveling all over. He also spoke on women's rights at women's rights conferences. He went on later to become friends with Victoria Woodhull.
Nice.
And
right.
actually support her campaign along with Frederick Douglass. This dude, by all accounts, actually practiced Christianity in a pretty pure form, which, bro, it's how, just do it. Can we just do this? That's all. No, but instead it's now Christian
You're trying to get me to be Christian now, Hannah? Is that what you're saying? You're like, can we just do that? You're trying to convert the heathen Muslim to Christianity?
You're not Muslim.
That's what this all is. You're like, I'm bringing you the Mecca Jesus so that your scientific author brain can finally become saved. No, I'm not Muslim, but in the Christian mind, I'm Muslim.
I know.
In the government's mind, I'm Muslim.
In the government's mind, Muslim and Middle Eastern are the same thing.
I'm Muslim, even if I say I'm not religious. They're like, no, you're just a Muslim. You're just a secret Muslim. That's what
Muslim's a race, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's how people talk about it.
We're Muslim Americans, by the way. Just, I want to die every time I hear that. Stop saying Muslim American.
Don't.
You people
You guys,
are idiots. You are
Muslim...
idiots. It is not a thing.
Islam is a religion, not a race or an ethnicity.
African American or Asian American or Muslim American. What is Muslim American?
From the country of
Country of Muslim.
Muslim.
The correct terminology should be American Muslim is what you're supposed to say, by the way.
That's true.
But I digest.
I digest. I don't. So in 1845, he and his brother decided people like all the things we're saying because his brother was kind of involved in this thing behind the scenes. He was a journalist. He would also write a lot and stuff like that. And he was kind of more of an academic. And Charles, I keep calling him Charlie, but his name is Charles.
Chuck. Old Chuck.
Brother Chuck started his own newspaper like everyone else called The Prisoner's Friend, which was just a whole thing about how we need to make sure no one's in prison. Because he was like, they're like, there's no reason one man should imprison another man. And like, well, that's great.
I don't know if I'm on board with that. I'm like, there's plenty of prison I would like to put in prison.
We need to imprison people.
Yeah.
For the good of the society. But
listen, I can see from like the, what's the word I'm thinking of? From the absolute optimist perspective, right?
Yes.
Is that we're talking about purity, right? We're talking about absolute unattainable, unrealistic standard of reality of like the idea of prison is supposed to be about reform. It's not supposed to be about putting you in prison and then locking up the key. It's supposed to be like, we're going to put you here so that you were punished, so that you learn how to act in society correctly. Therefore, when you leave prison, you should be able to be like, well, I served my time. I learned and now I'm better. That's like a very absolutist perspective, but
yes,
I'm wondering if that's probably a little bit too much.
I think that's the ideal. And I think that's
what I'm saying. That's the non-realistic idealistic
and that's what they were doing.
It.
But they pushed it even further, saying there should be no prisons at all, even for reform. Which I don't know what their alternative was.
Just let them live at their in-laws' house.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were kind of like, we should get rid of all prisons, and he started being really into like integrating like escaped slaves into their communities, which a lot of people were into, but also a lot of people were like, actually, I think I might be racist. Like there was like a lot of people who were like, let's just send them back to Africa 200 years after we kidnapped them from there. But so they started this newspaper and they got more and more popular, and people were like, bro, these guys are nuts, but also like, this is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And they got more and more followers and supporters, and their views were spreading. And it was also in 1845 that something would happen to John that would set his life on a much stranger trajectory.
Uh-oh.
So he was up in Portland, Maine, giving a speech on abolition and fighting against anti-Catholicism, because he's also believed that every religion should be allowed to exist in America or whatever. He was doing this speech in Portland, Maine, and afterward, there was a mob of people who were waiting for him outside, who were really angry. They're like, "Dude, I hate human rights. Screw you. No one should ever be equal." I don't know what they said, but they were pissed that he was saying all of this, and so this racist mob beat him up so badly that they left him for dead, and he got multiple head wounds and brain injuries. And
I see.
So
he never quite recovered.
Never quite recovered. But he was saved by an old friend who had come to his speech called Oliver Dennett. And Oliver found him bleeding out in the street, and he brought him home. He nursed him back to health.
Nice.
And he was seizing, and he was like, they were like, dude's gonna die. And despite having this head injury and being in a coma for 4 days, he woke up.
Nice.
This is where he's not quite the same.
He sounds like a robot where like you drop the phone on the ground and then you turn it back on and it doesn't quite function in the same way that it used to.
And he's like a really good person still, but this time he can hear ghosts. So he's like, he wakes up and he says, "I've had visions." And everyone's like, "Cool, buddy. Get back home to your wife," you know? And at this point, his wife was kind of like, "Finally, you don't have to be going all over the place saying kind of crazy stuff." Yeah. So he goes back home and he's a little addled, and he starts to have visions and dreams. And at the same time, there's like this spiritualist movement that's burgeoning in the area, and his daughter's gotten really into it, his adult daughter.
Okay.
So the two of them start going to these seances. And at these seances, he starts hearing his dead son, the baby.
Oh, no.
And the baby's like, "Dad, I'm great. I'm chill. It's great here. Don't worry about me." Which is great, because he's like, "Oh, I feel really comforted.
Be at peace." Yeah.
Yeah. And he said it really helped a lot. And soon after he recovered and kind of was back to normal-ish, Oliver Dennett, the man who had saved him, dies suddenly.
Oh, no.
And at these seances, it wasn't just sitting around being like, "Ooh, I'm hearing this person." It was a lot of like mediums, like other women who would talk as the person.
Yeah.
And there was also this stuff called automatic writing. Have you ever heard of automatic writing?
Like an auto pen? Like the thing that the president's really mad about?
Way weirder. Automatic writing is like a trance-like state where your hand will dictate messages without you doing anything.
Oh, it's like a Ouija board, but with a pen.
With a pen or a drawing. And so he starts automatic writing.
It's funny, I've tried doing that, but it just ends up being a bunch of drawings of dicks over and over again on a sheet of paper. Auto dick.
With the auto dictate. After Oliver died, so John is still hearing from all of his dead relatives, dead son, and he starts doing this automatic writing, and out comes this message from his friend Oliver that says, "What up?" I mean, not
what
that.
Up? Yeah.
He's like, John, you up? Come over. The parents are gone.
My parents just left.
He said, you need to go to Abington tomorrow night, which is a nearby city. You are needed there. You need to find a man named David Vining. Go with your horse and don't be afraid. I'll guide you.
Yeah.
I'm your friend and I'll protect you. And then he ends it with just saying, go, 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 like 20 go. Like if it were me, I'd be like, shut up.
This is Porky Pig, like contacting him from beyond the grave.
Go. And he's like, fine, I'll listen to my...
Leave now.
Turn right. He just like becomes a GPS.
Yeah. Oh man, I'd love a Porky Pig GPS. That would be really fun, actually.
I would feel insane. I would feel like I'm going insane. So he's like, hey, wife, I was just told by my dead friend that I needed to go find this dude named David. And she's like, I fear
just
this is the...
do me, please, for once.
I need you to stop talking to ghosts. Like, she was bummed that he kept talking to their dead son because she was like, that's not how I'm grieving. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, stop coming home and telling me stories about how you talk to our dead son.
Yeah.
And she's getting more and more impatient with him because he is suddenly not very focused at all on abolitionism or any of his social, like,
responsibilities.
Yeah, he's just kind of letting things slip. He's getting very, very sidetracked by spiritualism and seances and kind of living in this other world.
He's doing a 3-part tab
world.
on the November Rain music video
He
trilogy.
is deep in the second
disappointing
part.
his fans.
He's deep in the second part of the 3-part tab.
His
on
tens
November
of listeners
Rain.
are like, move on. We need you to get back to the interesting tabs that you usually do. Enough of this shit.
This is interesting, says the ghosts. The ghosts to say that. Yeah, I don't know. So he did it. He goes, and here's the weird thing. David Vining exists.
Did he not know him before?
That's what I think he probably did. But he says, I didn't know who this was, and I just went to this guy, and this guy's like almost dead. And he's like, I'm going to heal him by using magnetism, which is something they'd been getting into from like the guy Mesmer. The guy's last name was Mesmer. That's where mesmerizing
Really?
comes from.
That sounds like a made-up joke. Like, mesmerize comes from a guy named David Mesmer.
I'm not even kidding. It does. So Mesmer, he'd come from Europe, and they're like magnets and Mesmer and mesmerism. And so he's using like magnets, and he goes and heals this David guy. Here's where it gets really rough for me to understand.
Okay.
It's just it's a series of him healing people for like 10 straight years, right? Where it's just like, okay, so you're healing. Anyway, so he goes to David and he heals him, and everyone's like, oh, whoa. And then David does die. But like by that point, he's already healed him, and everyone's like, there's this the famous abolitionist speaker, John Spear, is now miraculously healing guys he heard about from ghosts, and everyone wants some. Everyone's like, come and heal me. I don't know. And so he goes to all these like conferences with other spiritualists and like a lot of seances. And there was this one where he goes, and this woman who's a medium walks up to him and says, I have a message for you. And she starts channeling Benjamin Franklin. Okay? And Benjamin Franklin tells John Murray Spear that he needs to go and help this woman who was just struck by lightning. And he goes. He helps her. And from then on, Ben Franklin is the little shoulder demon on John Murray Spear's shoulder, telling him everything he needed to do. So don't forget, all of the spirits are led by Benjamin Franklin, okay?
It's his Jiminy Cricket. It's like his conscience being his guide.
It's 100%. And everyone's like, Ben Franklin? And he's like, I promise. He wants me to finish his work. And this is where he's fully in the spiritualist movement, and he's fully in contact with Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, a bunch of other presidents. And he calls them the Association of... what is it? It's the weirdest word. Hold on.
The Association of Dead President...
Oh, the Association of Electrizers. So
it's kind of a badass name, actually.
I know.
Electrizers?
Electrizers. And Benjamin Franklin is the lead electrical genius in the spirit world. So after he died, he's like head of electricians, pretty much, or electrical, like the electrical stuff. So celestial electricity. And so, of course, naturally, it's Ben Franklin being like, buddy, you got to make Jesus. And he tells him that he's the one to bring about a utopia where everyone is equal. John needs to make Jesus out of...
John didn't forget. He's like, no, I've just been searching. He's like, I didn't lose sight of like what I was here for and like what I was trying to do. I just needed a different method.
Exactly. Where he's like, I'm not being like the minister anymore, but now I'm trying to actually bring Jesus back. So,
I'll say this. That's interesting about what you're saying is that even in his delusion and his head injury, and even in his state of having gotten the shit beat out of him by a mob, even in like his inability to focus, his response was not to get like, I need to, even like you would think that if he had a head injury and any other person might have been like, oh, now I need to get a private army to like start shooting people because I'm paranoid about getting beaten up again.
Right.
He went the opposite direction. He's like, no, we need to make Mecha Jesus so that everybody can be saved.
And equal. And that was the big thing where Ben Franklin was like, I was wrong. I should never have had slaves. None of us should have. You need to undo everything we did, and you need to finish my work as being like the father of electricity or something.
Yeah.
And which is kind of awesome if you think about it. Like, this would be an amazing movie. Like
that's all I'm thinking when you're telling me this.
I was waiting. Yeah. I want you to say when you feel like you hear a good scene, tell me. So he meets somebody.
No, it's basically him. The pitch is basically like when he wakes up from it. And it's just everybody being like, what? Are you insane? And then the idea that like something that sounds insane now to them at that time, like we can look at, this is how you would frame it, right? Is that you're like, whatever's happening today, somebody might say something that sounds insane, but like in 100 years, it'll seem like absolutely the opposite, where you're like, how is it insane that everybody else doesn't think this? But you don't ham it up too much.
He was way ahead of his time in that he's like, yeah, guys, we should actually be nice to people.
Yeah.
And like not in the white person feel-goodery type of like, everyone's equal.
That's so interesting. I'm colorblind. Yeah, not that way.
But more in the way that like Jesus was like an insane Middle Eastern man who wanted everyone to be happy. And we're gonna go with that. And he like was kind of crazy and everyone hated. He was murdered for a reason, dude. Everyone was like, let's shut this guy up.
Still trying to convert me to Christianity? Not gonna happen, Hannah. I'm sorry.
I don't care.
But continue.
I don't care what you believe.
Even if it's a robot Jesus.
Look, I'll get you someday. I'll get you.
Many people have tried.
I know. I don't know. Right? Same. And I'm like, buddy, good luck.
He's stubborn.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to my meeting. I'm going to go talk to Benjamin Franklin and tell him that you would not even
The Lightning Boys? What was the name of his crew?
Lightning Boys.
The Presidential Lightning Boys?
In the Ghost Committee of the Founding Fathers? No.
The Presidential Lightning Boys.
The Presidential Lightning Boys. No, the Association of Electrizers.
Electrizers. I do love Electrizer.
So he and the people he's are around him, because everyone around him is deeply into spiritualism. And also at the same time, all these things are coming, like this was 2 years after the Carrington event. So there was...
Oh, right. So now there's been this worldwide event where everything turned red. And then they're like, cool, now Benjamin Franklin's coming back.
I looked and I couldn't find anything relating the two, but he had to have seen it.
I'm sure he did. If everybody in the world saw it, he would have seen it.
And it was electricity. It was like, I'm sure, I don't know.
That was a call from the Lightning Boys, like just very clear. It's a calling
Benjamin
card.
Franklin's like, everyone listen up.
Wait, what year did he get? He got beat up in 45?
So yeah, he was 45, but then Carrington event was 53.
Yeah, okay.
And he starts building Mecha Jesus in like around the same time as the Carrington event, which is fascinating.
I'm going to say that somehow that like the frequency in his brain, like I bet you like that just switched it. It's canon. We're going to decide that.
Yeah.
We have decided for the world that the Lightning Boys, this is like resurrection where they came for the Carrington event, electricity'd something into his brain, and then now he had to make Mecha Jesus.
Yeah. Yep. So
I'm turning into a Kumatab. I'm sorry.
I love it. Dude, I just can't wait to have Mecha Jesus fight in Kumatab.
Yeah, but he has to look like this with like no limbs, and it's just like a gramophone, essentially. Playing the ball and cup game. Yeah.
Playing music. So he's healing everybody. Everyone's getting really into him. And he's, again, remember, he's not mean. He's a really nice guy. And he genuinely believes this. I really think he genuinely believed it. Mm-hmm. And I think he was seeing things for sure, because he got hit on the frontal lobe really hard. Like, that's going to happen. And his wife is like, okay, I'm not into the idea of you talking to Benjamin Franklin all the time. It's better than our dead son. But like, whatever. I'm going to support. We got 4 other kids to raise. I'm just going to be busy with that. You do you. Yeah. And Brain Franklin was always there. He would sometimes bring Socrates, sometimes Thomas Jefferson. Socrates. Exactly. This is Socrates.
This is just Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, but like in the 1800s with a guy who's insane.
100%. A benevolent, insane person. That's what I want. If I ever go crazy, I want to go crazy like this. So
in the nicest possible way.
In the nicest possible way. So he called them also the Congress of Spirits. So because they were all founding fathers. At-home bar. It's all Dom Perignon. It's all champagne.
This is my lube station that I like to call the Congress of Spirits. This is my Monday jork. This is my Wednesday jork. This is my weekend jork. It's a little bit more expensive.
I pop out the good stuff for the weekend jork. So they began telling him at this time to construct a device that would bring about a utopia of love and equality throughout the world. And that to do that, he needed to source specific materials and metals in order to construct a sort of golem or automaton that could house...
Literally golem to come, yeah.
Yeah. that could house the divine spark of the Lord and literally and figuratively power the world and end poverty and suffering everywhere. So,
oh my God, he sounds like a founder in a startup in Silicon Valley right now.
yeah, but except it's the ghost of Ben
Except
Franklin.
they're not nice. Yeah.
He's whispering into this dude's ear who just got hit on the head really hard.
This guy today, if he had said that, he would have literally just been given like Series 12 funding. I don't even know what it is. Trillions of dollars to be like, wow, can the market be involved in this? Great. Growth at all costs.
Machine growth at all costs.
Yeah. This is basically just Sam Altman, but like the good version of it.
But nice. And,
yeah. But actually he's trying to be nice.
So
he's all, listen, guys, I need all the copyright in the world and all the money that's ever existed. That's the only way that this business will succeed.
Okay, hold on. I just realized. Okay, so this was years before the Carrington event. I thought the Carrington event was 53, but it's 59.
The Carrington event was 59 or this was 59?
No, Carrington event. So
this caused the Carrington event. Listen, we need to string it together somehow.
We do. Well, and the fact that there was like, so at the time, I'm going to get back into spiritualism a little bit. At the time, there was all this new technology in the form of the telegraph. And so the idea that people could speak to not just people nearby, but also across the world.
Yeah.
What's to say you couldn't also speak to ghosts?
I understand that. Yeah, that makes sense.
This is a weird period of like, we're sciencey, we're getting it. But we're still deeply entrenched in religion and superstition and belief, and so the combination of the two, it's a very understandable conclusion to come to use machines, to somehow channel God and stuff like that. So it's not so far fetched because a lot of people at the time they're like, oh, this is actually magic. Electricity is magic. We can access everybody. So what's to say we can't talk to our dead relatives? So that was a huge part of it. And
you know what it reminds me of now is like people being like, oh, video games are magic and they're cool. Perhaps we're all living in a simulation. It's the idea that like the technology influences how everyone thinks because the technology is new.
So they believed in this stuff called the universal fluid. And yep, yeah. So the universal fluid was like what they've thought gave life to everything. Now, here's where it does get a little sexual. And I don't want to... okay, I don't want to say this is real. I don't think he did anything to this machine. But he sure did talk like he did. There's no proof.
Would it have been a problem if he did?
No, absolutely not. So when you think about creation...
Listen, I will say, it looked like a penis, like the Austin Powers, like Swedish-made penis enlarger. Yeah, that's what it looks like in the middle. Yeah.
That they made it... It's supposed to have a penis and a vagina.
No, but I'm saying it looks like the penis enlarger. You know,
it does. It looks like the pump. It looks like a coffee maker too, like a coffee grinder pump, penis pump.
If it doesn't have universal fluid inside of it, how is it supposed to conduct electricity? You need to supply it.
You're getting it, dude. You are getting it because
I'm crazy. I've had a head injury. Perhaps this has been my fate this whole time.
This is the wet dream of Dreamery.
The wet dreamery.
So, in order to create a system that's capable of harnessing the divine spark, it needs to be able to have, how do I explain this? The universal fluid, which is what creation is made from, and which just sounds like jizz, and because that's what they meant by it. But it was in a
metacumlians. I don't know.
You know what? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at metacumlians. Okay, I'm not taking it any further. I can't go any further with that. So. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. How do you build a God machine? I wonder why your family
doesn't listen to this podcast anymore. What's metacumlians? It's the universal fluid that binds us all together.
And boy, does it bind.
Boy, does it bind because it's sticky like champagne. Sorry, continue.
I just didn't know that we would already have talked about jizz already. You know what I mean? I thought we would talk about it now and not in the first 10 minutes.
Metacumlians, yes, I'm sorry.
So
the jizz needs to bind the universe together.
Please take us seriously and give us money, everybody.
Yes, we're doing God's work, just like Mecha Jizzes.
Do
you think he calls it Mecha Jizzes?
No, but you can. I like to call him the Electric Elohim, though. I think that's a fun name because that's the biblical name for God.
I like Electric Jizzes much better.
We'll go with that.
Filled with jizz.
So how do you make the God machine, right? So he's like, Benjamin Franklin, you want me to make this? You want to make a machine that ushers in like a utopia? Tell me how to do it. And Ben's like, don't even worry. I got you. And he's like, you got to find magnets. First of all, you got to get magnets.
This sounds like an It's Always Sunny. This
Yeah.
sounds like a Charlie and Frank side. Like
100%.
a B plot. Yeah. You got to find magnets. That's the only way it works.
Second, you got to find copper and zinc. And one of them is male and one
Frank
of them
literally
is female.
steals copper from the walls.
100%. So it was important to note that Ben Franklin was like, one of these is male and one of these is female. This thing is going to be both male and female because that's how you create life is with male. So it's like a weird intersex Jesus robot. And he's like, you got to get these plates, okay? And then you got to get galvanic batteries. That's really important, like the stuff they use in telegraph machines.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't forget all the gears and wires. And so he's like, dude, thank you. And so he goes and gathers this and he's like, well, now what? And Benjamin Franklin's like, you're too low. You got to get high. You got to get high on a hill so you can be closer to the electricity or whatever it is, closer to the celestial electricians. And how about that hill over there? Over there, it's called High Rock. Perfect. So he goes to this place in Lynn, Massachusetts with all of his followers. Remember, he has like followers and like mediums and people who still love him and have been like, we're taking this jump with you.
Yeah.
He gets the copper and zinc plates, and Franklin's like, these represent cells, and the wires are the nerves, and the coils and the rods. The coils and rods are the muscles, and the organs are the batteries are the organs, like the heart and the brain. And
again, this is literally
this,
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey when they build the good robot us's at the end.
Absolutely a Bill and Ted. Excellent. It's absolutely what it is, except with way more jizz. All of this, actually, contested.
Equal amount of jizz, probably, yeah.
Probably. Young, dumb, and full of robot cum. So all of this working together, Ben Franklin, founding father Ben Franklin, says would create the universal fluid, the actual life force to bring about the whatever. And so the goal. Oh, and then he said, oh, but here's the most important part, buddy. Johnny Spears. You have to be able to birth this thing. And you don't got the parts to birth.
It's true.
But you know who does? His ladies.
Wife?
No.
Oh, just
no,
ladies
his wife
in general.
Wants nothing to do with this. She's like, I need to feed our children. And so Ben Franklin's like, you need to get a new Mary. A new Mother Mary to birth this new mechanical Jesus. So with that, I'm going to pick up next week.
Oh,
with
we're going to do
a
double parter.
Yes, with the building of. I didn't know you were going to do a 3-parter, or else I maybe wouldn't have done this. But
I didn't even know.
I'm going to pick up next week with the building of the mechanical Messiah and the uphill battle it was to find someone to be the new Mary and to make it work in a way that could usher in the, They truly do merge spiritualism, science, and like engineering. It's pretty incredible, and we're going to get into it next week. And then we're going to get into the aftermath of it. So that's my tab.
Excellent choice on place to stop as a cliffhanger. I commend you.
Thank you.
It's very good. That's awesome.
Right?
I'm very excited to learn more about this next episode.
I got a lot of this from this interview by a man who wrote a book about... I'm the worst, and I didn't write it down. Hold on. Mechanical Messiah book. Okay. It's called The Remarkable Life of John Murray Spear, Agitator for the Spirit Land. And it is by John Benedict Buescher, and I've started reading it. I listened to an interview with him, and I read an interview with him. And the interview is enough to be like, I actually need to read this book because it's fascinating.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
So I've started reading the book. It's really interesting, and I'm going to get into the rest of his life after... next week. So
that's awesome. Love it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for the tab. I'm looking forward to part 2.
Me too.
So now it's time to close, which you and I have tabs that we're going to keep open, but
I can close the one on spiritualism.
Yeah. What would you like to do to close the tabs? Should we do electricity with
a guitar
with Dom
riff?
Perignon spraying everywhere and making the metacumlians? I don't know.
How about a guitar riff, like a sick guitar riff and some electricity? I don't know.
Let's just do an electrical thing that with a gunshot, maybe. the tabs are unaliving themselves.
We have done so many gunshots as we close these tabs, but we'll do it again. So like a and then a gunshot. Sounds good.
Let's. I'll count us down. You ready?
Okay. Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Closed it.
And moving on to listener emails. Email number 1 is from Kayleen from Belgium.
Oh, nice.
Hello, Hannah and Kaveh. Hope you're doing well. My name is Kayleen, and I'm writing to you from Belgium. Hoping you are still doing the listeners' closed tabs at the ends of the episodes. I've just found your podcast after going back to Kaveh's last podcast and seeing he had a new one. Thank you for joining us. So you've been my commute to work for the past few days. Some more preamble. I use Ecosia. Have you heard of this? Ecosia?
No.
Ecosia. For my phone searching. And fun fact, after 100 tabs, the number in the top right becomes a smiley face. And if you have tabs unused for more than 7 days, they are put into an inactive tabs area to free up space on your phone. I'm at about 104 tabs open.
Wow. That's so passive aggressive that it just smiles at you.
I'm just like, hey.
It's like, is that, what do you mean by that?
So, onto a tab I've been inspired to have another look at. It is the explanation behind a series of paintings depicting the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and the inspirations and recommended readings to dig further into the work. I am just in awe of the work and always feel like I find something more to look at and spot each time I return. I will not be closing this tab, but here it is. Cool art link. I'll send you in a sec. Thank you for podcasting. Oh, you got it. I have 64 episodes left to catch up on and lost my earplugs. So RIP for me right now. I will find them. Ciao, Kayleen. And then they wrote a follow-up email. A quick update. I found my headphones. They were in the unused breast pocket of my lab coat.
Oh, one of us.
So the link that's sent is Tumblr.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I tried going through Tumblr and I'm like, I don't understand this format anymore. I'm too old for it.
No,
I can't figure out.
A little bit past. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm too old for Tumblr and I'm too young for Facebook. I go on Facebook and I have like a panic attack.
I can't do it.
Makes sense to me in terms of how to navigate these sites. But I was trying to find. So the artist is NN-EE-ZZ on Tumblr.
Oh. Ooh, these are cool.
And I'm not clear in terms of like website stuff or I don't know. Bro, I don't understand anything on Tumblr. It's all very confusing. I'm too old for it. But these paintings are beautiful.
They are
so they depict war, famine, pestilence, and death. And I thought the one that stuck out to me was the pestilence one, which I thought I made note. It says, based on the notes of a doctor who said the most frightening thing about viral disease was how it didn't frighten. People didn't know or care. They lived and spread it until it was too late. And then they became another name on the record. That struck me as something that you would have. Like, look at that painting. It's amazing.
I am obsessed with this painting. It's riding this horse that looks diseased. It's a person and they're bound up in like a shroud.
Yeah,
and
it's really cool.
Legs are all bloody, but it looks like the horse is taking them wherever. It's not. They are not in control of that horse. Oh, this is cool.
So for each of the pieces, there's a oh god, the famine one's crazy. It's got like a bullet hole in the head. It's like Elizabeth.
It's just like Elizabeth. The famine, and then oh yeah, war, death is beautiful. The white horse, so the white horse of death. It looks so peaceful. It's just a lady. I want to die and get on that horse. Yeah. These are beautiful, Kaylee.
Go get a chance. It's in the show notes, but take a look at these pieces and then the little blurbs beneath them and explain some of the thought process. I thought it was really cool.
I love that. Well, thank you, Kayleen.
Yeah. Anyway, up to you. Next.
So
next
this
email.
is M again. This is M from OC. Orange County.
M from OC. Mock is what we would say. MOC.
Mock. Oh, duh. Sorry.
From OC. MOC is what it sounds like.
MOC. Mock. Yeah. Okay. Well, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So I've read something from M recently. I didn't realize until today this is the same M. So hi again, M. Hello, Kaveh and Hannah. I'm writing to share my tabs on the discovery of King Richard III's body under an English car park in 2012. Dude, I know.
This
I know.
Car was just driven over it.
This dude was, this is a fascinating story.
Okay.
So my backstory really quick is that the thing I won Shakespeare Festival with, I didn't win. I got like
Talking Shakespeare
place.
Good.
It was from Richard III, Act 1, Scene 2. And when this story broke, me and Dustin, shout out to Dustin, he's written in, my scene partner who played Richard, I played Anne, sent this to me. And we were both like nerding out over it because we're like, they found him. Anyway.
You were like, oh my God, England? I love it. So cool. England. Yay, England.
Yeah, buddy. Sorry. Swear my ancestors are from. It's interesting in its own way. It's not my fault. I felt great being there. I could open my eyes. The sky was foggy and like gray. I lost my spot. Despite its problems. got a spot in my heart.
I'm just going to let this keep going.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not embarrassed. Okay, they ruined the world. He's my personal favorite historical evil Richard. Sorry to the Nixon fans.
What?
I hope
Okay, sure, yeah.
In 1485, King Richard III and his army met Henry Tudor, the Earl of Richmond at Bosworth Field. Richard was ultimately defeated, allowing Henry Tudor to claim the throne, end the War of the Roses, and become Henry VII, the first Tudor king and father of Henry VIII, with the 6 wives. So it's funny
I
because
just disassociated that entire explanation. I don't care. Idea.
You'll like this part.
Lost.
After Richard died, they just stabbed him in the butt a bunch. She didn't include this, but he died and they threw him onto a horse.
Butt stabbing? Why'd they stab his butt?
To humiliate him.
Did he have bad farts?
Who knows? But they wanted to humiliate the dead king, and they're like, let's just do whatever you want to him. And everyone just like
butt stabbing,
sodomized him with spears. So Richard's body laid in state for a few days and then was buried at the by Greyfriars in the city of Leicester. However, after that, history lost track of the body because he was usurped. The Tudor propaganda promoted him as a uniquely evil and unworthy king who murdered his own brother and nephew. He didn't get a fancy tomb. They wanted to discover the body not just for the sake of the English history broadly, but also because depictions of Richard, most notably Shakespeare's, represented him as having a disability, a deformity. So because of modern ableism, the deformity was often informed his villainy. So they're like, yeah, he's deformed, so he's evil. And so they're like,
it's like every Hollywood movie where they're like, the guy with the scar on his eyeball is clearly the bad guy.
And he's gay.
That's the other thing. Right. He's queer. Like, it's always queer-coded.
Always queer-coded.
He's eccentric looking. He's got to be evil. He's a little too well-dressed. He's clearly the bad guy.
Don't trust him.
Yeah. Don't trust the guy dressed like Jareth, the Goblin King.
Don't marry Jareth's little brother. So to kind of like, yeah, so I'm kind of summarizing this a little bit, but everyone was like, he's disgusting. He's got a hunchback and he's awful and his withered hand. And it made everyone, it's really sad because they're just like, you're shaped weird, so you're bad. But he actually was bad. So without the body, they didn't know. So they had to consult and compare 400 years of maps to determine the approximate location of where he was buried. In the 1920s, Charles Bilson concluded that he must lie undisturbed somewhere beneath the Greyfriars Street or buildings that face it. And so they're like, that must be it. A team of researchers and archaeologists led by Philippa Langley secured the money they needed to excavate the car park. And this is in 2012. Because of limited funds, they had to be extremely precise in where they would dig the trenches to try and find the friary's foundations. So they used the guy's original 1920s description. In the days that followed, the team not only found the remains of the old church, but also a skeleton with battle wounds to the skull and a curved spine. Oh. The skeleton was still decently intact, and an examination of the skeleton confirmed it would have been a man in his 30s. Richard died at age 32. Genetic testing confirmed with 99.999% certainty that it was King Richard III.
Holy shit.
The body was roughly where Bilson predicted it would be 90 years ago.
Wow.
Well, right? They don't go into this, but it was some guy in Canada who was descended from Richard's, like, sister or something crazy. While the skeleton did show that Richard would have had scoliosis, which likely caused him pain, he did not have a withered arm or limp described by Shakespeare. His remains have been formally interred in Leicester Cathedral across from the new Richard III Visitor Center. Keep it Josie, M from Orange County, and also the Discord. Right. Yeah.
Thank you, M.
Thanks, M. Yeah, that was a fun story. Email. Because the fact that they were like, oh, we knew exactly where we had this hunch, and then we actually found him, and he did have kind of a hunch, like all this crazy stuff. It was like all.
Also, if I'm the guy that owns the carport, I'm excited because I'm changing it to like Dick 3 carport, and then I'm extra charging to be like, come park your car on the boards of old Dick.
Dickie the Third. Look at his
Dick 3, where we charge you 3 times as much to park your car in my porthole.
Beautiful. An erotic life. Richard III, an erotic life.
Richard III, an erotic life, being buried under a carport. He had a carport fetish.
He did. Car park, anyway. But yeah, whatever. So if you want to send in stuff, you know where to do it. 500opentabs@gmail.com. Follow us.
Again, as we said at the top of the show, we're going to be in San Jose next week. From the time that's next weekend, the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the San Jose Convention Center for GalaxyCon. Come see us. We're going to be at the table with like you said, with the shortest line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we'll be drawing some stuff, commissions. And
selling
Will
books,
be-
selling prints, all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
It'll
be a
fun.
good time. And in the meantime, please go sign up for the Patreons, subscribe to the YouTube. Send this to a carport if you know one.
It's car park, but yeah, send it to a car park port.
Car park. If you have a friend that likes Guns N' Roses, send them these episodes. If you've got a
Yes.
friend, if you're friends with Mecca Jesus, send this to your pastor.
Let him know.
Your Mecca pastor.
Your only a Mecca
Send this to
pastors are allowed.
Jesus when he comes back. He can tell everybody
Yeah.
about our podcast and how we
Yeah.
correctly described his return
And
in
his
the most
prophet,
faithful way.
who got hit on the head really hard. If you got hit on the head really hard, Kaveh,
Send this to
send
me.
this to you.
I can listen to my own
How come
podcast. And be
you
like, I don't remember
didn't
doing
create
that.
a new fun religion?
I didn't do anything useful once I hit my head. Nor do I have followers, nor have I had success. Anyway,
Thanks, everyone.
otherwise, I'm at PermaFriends on Instagram and at Covetarian on Blue Sky.
And I'm at Hannah Hill, and I'm yawning again.
Oh, sorry to bore you, Hannah. In the meantime, we will see you at
You're
the
doing your
Guinevere's
best.
Garden Toilet tribute toilet in San Jose.
Yeah, or in Soviet Nixie's Richard Nixon, Richard III's pool party.
Zichard Nixon's. Keep those
Mecca Jesus
metacumlians
out.
stored away. Yeah.
Metacumlians? That doesn't even make sense.
Bye.
Bye.